been talking to the walls, thinking someone's here. Creating fantasies no one's gonna hear. Don't wanna go to sleep, I have so much to say. I'm in and out and back again, will it always be this way? Oh, creating fantasies no one's gonna hear. Just to be somebody who can say I got it, it's all I ever wanted, do it like they do. Just to be somebody who can say I got it, it's all I ever wanted, do it like they do. Just to be somebody.
What's up, everybody? Live from the Nerd Bacon bunker somewhere in the country of America, the United States of America. It's the Level Up Lariat podcast, brought to you by Bacon.com. I'm Dave the Watchman. Who's this guy over here?
This is Level Up Justin. How's it going, Dave the Watchman?
It is going well, Level Up Justin. Our third, Jeff Roth, he has got a previous engagement tonight. He's posing as someone else. He's posing as Alpha tonight.
Yeah. So gonna hopefully play nice with some children, because maybe don't want to be the big bad wolf over there.
Actually, funny story. My first acting role came when I was 5. I was the big bad wolf in our school production of Little Red Riding Hood. And I was like really serious about it too. So whenever everybody in the audience started laughing because of something adorable that I did, I kept like putting my hand up like, no, be quiet. Be quiet. I'm trying to do my lines. This isn't funny. This is serious.
That's funny.
That's just a little side. Anyway, we're here every week, brought to you by Bacon.com, covering the finer things in life. That, of course, is professional wrestling and video games.
That's right.
Justin, it's been a kind of a week in wrestling. We've got the road to WrestleMania firmly getting paved out here. Big match announced on Monday during Raw, and that was Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey going up against the power duo of Triple H and Stephanie. How are you feeling about this one?
I'm just not feeling it. Not really. I'm just not. I mean, and I don't think it's I've been a little critical of the Ronda Rousey storyline so far since she's been introduced.
A lot of people have. Yeah,
and to an extent I can see it. Like I can see she's still a little rusty, especially she reminds me of when she kind of reminds me of when Brock Lesnar first came, and especially when he first came back again, because his mannerisms are real awkward sometimes.
Sure.
So I think she's just getting used to it. Nothing major. And but like you've got 2 Olympic gold medalists against Triple H. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And then you got Stephanie, and I'm like,
go on.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, we touched on this a lot last week because the speculation was rife that this was the match that was going to happen, and now, of course, this is the match that's going to happen. And like you're saying, I'm cool with Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, although I don't know if I would stick her with somebody who hasn't really been wrestling that much in the past few years. I would want somebody who's actually taking care of her, since this is her first professional wrestling match.
Right.
And then
I would have been let's say if they plugged Braun Strowman in instead of Kurt Angle, even like a Seth Rollins, and played off that Triple H storyline again.
That would have been cool.
Just to kind of, and now even if it had been The Rock, I just feel like The Rock still Not that Angle hasn't wrestled, but there's just a little bit there. Angle's just, we know he's hurt. We know he's battling with a lot. So,
and he was really stiff and awkward in that one match during Survivor Series when he took Roman's place in the Shield. So he did seem kind of like the really like delicate almost, like, oh shoot, is Angle gonna break?
Yeah. Yeah, when
he takes an egghead, I don't know if it's hard boiled or soft or what.
Yeah, each match he's been in. So that one and then the Survivor Series match was tough to watch him take some bumps, especially when they took the pedigree from Triple H. I was like, oh, is he gonna? Oh, okay, yeah. I just every little motion you have to kind of watch. So it'll be interesting. I mean, Triple H is who he is for a reason, so I'm sure he can take care of Kurt Angle. But then you got Rousey and Steph.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just something. One of these things are not like the other. So
when's the last time Stephanie McMahon was in a wrestling ring as a wrestler?
I don't remember. I think it might have been with her and the Bella Twins a couple years ago. I don't even know.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was like back right before I stopped watching wrestling.
Oh, sure.
That might have been, that was like in 2003. It was after WrestleMania 18.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what she did after that from then up until like I picked it up again in 2011, but I don't know. It's Steph. I don't want to watch a 40-year-old mom get slapped around by a legitimate badass woman. You know?
Right. And it's not to say that Stephanie's not in great, phenomenal shape, and she works out, and she's very, she's never been athletic from a professional wrestling standpoint.
Right.
So even when I think about it like that, I'm like, okay, she's never been really athletic from a professional wrestling standpoint. And then you throw on top the fact that she's going up against a brand new pro wrestler.
Right.
Who's maybe going to be a little rough around the edges. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, but I'm not buying it.
I get the need to take care of Rousey and have, that big WrestleMania moment for her, but I don't think you need to stick her in this tag match to have that WrestleMania moment. Rousey there is a WrestleMania moment.
Yep.
But then I see the need to kind of want to protect Rousey since, this is her first match and it just so happens to be on the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah, that's a high praise for her that they're willing to like, hey, we're going to put you on the grandest stage of all. Now they've done that with other celebrities.
Sure.
Floyd Mayweather, for example, is one that comes to mind. But yeah, I mean, it'll be tough because they're betting on her going long term too.
Yeah, that's the thing. So there's no room for error for her to have like a dud.
Yeah.
And this type of match kind of lends itself to being pretty cheesy, which is okay. That's all right. But do you want Rousey's first go to be a cheese match?
Well, that's just it. She's going to get the cheap pops, as Mick Foley would say. She's going to get those cheap pops right away. But yeah, it's going to be tough because if you think about it, as she grows, you can only imagine she's going to get better as long as she stays passionate about what she's wanting to do. But like you said, if she comes out and lays an egg here, ooh, man, it's going to be tough. Because then how do you put her? Okay, so she lays an egg against Stephanie. How do you pitch Ronda versus Charlotte then? Now, yeah, you could go off of, she was an Olympic medalist or whatever in judo, but oh, man, that's going to be tough if you lay an egg right out the gate.
Yeah, and Ronda versus Charlotte, it's still a year away, but I don't know. I feel like it would be a more legitimate match from a believability standpoint to have Charlotte teaming up with Triple H.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Yeah.
So...
yeah. I mean, and I could have seen a couple other scenarios, like say if Paige had been healthy.
Oh God, yeah. If Paige had been healthy, that would have been perfect.
She would have been a good heel to really. Her verbal skills are up to par where she could have really went with Ronda.
Right.
And but again, with the injury, I get it. I wouldn't have wanted just to stick in anyone like just randomly. But Stephanie's gonna be tough, so we'll see. We'll see how they play this out because it's going to be interesting to see how the show goes when April 8th comes around.
Yeah, I was obsessively listening to Jim Cornette clips a few nights ago, and he was talking about if he were doing the booking, he would not have Rousey at anywhere on before WrestleMania. He wouldn't have her show up till WrestleMania. And then show up like after the women's match or something like that to challenge somebody down the road. He said he wouldn't have her match until next WrestleMania. It would be a solid 1 year build up.
Wow.
Yeah. it'd be a solid 1 year build up for her first match, starting at WrestleMania or like the Raw after WrestleMania and then culminating at WrestleMania 35. I got to say, I agree with him. And I agree with him because WWE did that back at WrestleMania 28. They had that year-long build-up from between WrestleMania 27 and 28 with The Rock versus John Cena. And you know what? That's one of the things that got me watching wrestling again. Because of that build-up. It's the build-up to see The Rock come back and face the top guy in WWE right now. They built it perfectly. Once in a lifetime. The clash of generations. They didn't have Rock. They had him come at Survivor Series to team with Cena versus Miz and I forget who Miz was tagging with. That. Oh, it was R-Truth. That's right.
Right.
But, you know, you got a little glimpse of The Rock, and you got to see that, yeah, The Rock can still go. He's still in phenomenal shape. He still has all the old moves and everything. But that build-up between Rock and John Cena was just perfect. I don't know if I can think of any build-up in all the years that I've watched professional wrestling that was more perfect than that Rock versus Cena WrestleMania 28. And then they ruined it a year later at WrestleMania 29 when they had the Kick-Out Spectacular. Where I don't think I've ever seen more finishes kicked out of in a match than that match between Rock and Cena.
That might have started the phenomenon of do finishers matter?
It really did, actually. It really did.
I would agree.
That's like the WrestleMania I want to forget because you had that match, and then you had that turd of a match with Brock Lesnar versus Triple H, where Brock had to put over Uncle Paul for that one. So
no, you know, and I don't disagree with you or Jim Cornette completely. My only thought is with that you had two like massive personalities. It just would have been who would Ronda's like first lead up have been? Would it have been Charlotte? You know, because like in her own right, she's still relatively newer on the main roster. But, you know, I mean, would it have been Asuka? Maybe. I mean, again, you know, who do we have built up with her? And then the only other thing is she did show up, 3 years ago on Mania with The Rock, and they kind of planted the seed or whatever. Yeah. But again, you know, it took so much longer to get her here. So I do agree with one thing. If there's anything we both agree on with Jim Cornette, it would have been that I don't think I would have had her appear yet. I didn't like her appearing at the Rumble. I didn't like the signing at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah. I feel like that's when the show stopped. Yeah. And then now she's on Raw 2 consecutive weeks in a row.
And she's going to be on Raw every week leading up to Mania. And that's another thing that he was pointing out is you're going to lose that aura of something special.
The wow factor. The wow.
Because you still have that. You know, years after Brock Lesnar came back, he's been back since what, 2011 or 12, whatever, the night after 28.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because Cena beat The Rock, and then he came out, and then Brock came out and flattened Cena.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's been back for, almost, when was that, 2012? So 6 or 7 years now he's been back.
It's been about 6 years, roughly, that he's been back doing this.
It's hard to believe.
You know. And now he's, you know, it sounds like he may be going away again, which is, you know, more power to him if he's healthy to do his own thing. But, yeah, you lose that wow factor with Ronda Rousey at this point. I mean, what is she? You know, you have her every week. Like this past Monday, again, was kind of a dud with her on Monday Night Raw. She stopped Stephanie from slapping Angle, and Angle and Triple H got into it last night. And then Stephanie ran out of the ring, and then it left Triple H in the ring between Rousey and Angle got him in the angle lock, and then Rousey pulled up Stephanie into the ring, and I mean, it was kind of a weird turn of events, but like you said, starting to lose that little bit of a impact of that little extra. I mean, she's gonna have this wow factor going in because the crowd is chanting for her for the most part.
Yeah, but
there are a few people that are booing her, but it's for the most part she's getting cheers. But you're losing that extra it factor,
right?
You know, that build up.
Right. I hope everything works out because I want Ronda Rousey to succeed. Ronda Rousey's cool. She has an incredible streak of accomplishments in UFC, and obviously her Olympic career and her what was it, judo career?
Yeah, she was an Olympic judo. I think she got bronze judo.
So she's got an amazing set of accomplishments. She's a legitimate tough woman. I want her to succeed, but I don't know if this is the right venue. But you know what? Time will heal old wounds. So
right. They just need to treat her like they did Kurt Angle. Like, don't make her be like that special, like, one-time thing. Like, treat her like Kurt Angle, you know? Yeah, he was an Olympic gold medalist who won a medal with a broken frickin' neck, but treat her like that. Treat her like she's a medalist, not like a sideshow.
Right.
And I think she'll be good.
You can treat her like one of the regular girls after WrestleMania, but until WrestleMania, just keep that aura of magic with her. Anyway,
protect that.
Speaking of road to WrestleMania, they had the IC title match announced at WrestleMania. So what is this? Apparently, it's The Miz in a triple threat match.
Yeah, it
versus Seth Rollins and Finn Balor.
Yep, now, that is correct.
I am okay with this match. This is a potentially show-stealing match. The only downside that I have on this is, what the heck is going on with Braun Strowman?
You, my friend, are probably thinking the same thing. Jeff and I are as well. I think we're all three on the same page.
Jeff, I feel sorry for Jeff. He's probably hitting his head with the hammer at this point.
Yep. Jeff is right. Braun Strowman is probably one of the top two, if not the top, like, over the top thing and most over the guy that they have. You know, the only person that gets the kind of cheers he gets would be like with Rusev Day right now, and that's only because of the catchphrase, really. But yeah, this is interesting because it doesn't put Braun in any sort of big match at Mania.
Yeah,
it doesn't put him anywhere close to a title or a main event.
It's ridiculous. So what do you do with him?
I don't know. It almost seems like, because they had him face Elias again last night in some like orchestra destruction match where they both played like obnoxious instruments and then they beat the crap out of each other. It was, and I'm okay with like him having a sense of humor because he's hilarious as it is. But then at some point they got to remember he's the monster among men. He was the guy that they had flip over a semi and bring down like the structure behind the Titantron or whatever and the video wall and all that. So if he's not going to be in the IC title match, he's not going to be in the world title match or the WWE title match or Universal or whatever. So I guess he's just going to get some randomized match.
If they stick him in the stupid Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, there's no hope left. There's no hope left if that's what happens.
And you would think if you put him in that, he wins it. You would think.
Who knows, Vince? Vince works in mysterious, baffling ways.
Yeah, that's true. I would just think they're misusing him right now, but I think a lot of it's too is they had some plans set up ahead of time. It's just they have to be able to call an audible once in a while. Like, hey, we see this guy's over. We know Roman's going to get booed when he wins.
Right.
So, unless they pull like what is that, WrestleMania 9 when it was in the outdoors at Roman Coliseum where was it Yokozuna and Bret Hart and Yokozuna won and then Hogan came out and was like challenged him to a match and then Hogan won or whatever. I don't think that they do that with Braun, but maybe they keep that in the back pocket.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That was not good.
No.
I heard a clip. I think it was Bruce Pritchard talking about that. Obviously, I was very bored one of these weekend nights, and I was like screwing around on YouTube and listening to a bunch of wrestling clips. But anyway, I think Bruce Pritchard was talking about that. And Bret Hart was really upset about that, of course. And he thought it was something against him. Apparently, the reason that they did that was something to do with being able to sell the re-airing of pay-per-views. So it's like you missed WrestleMania on pay-per-view, and then you come to watch Raw the next day, and wait a second, Hogan's the champion? You got to order the pay-per-view to find out what happened at WrestleMania, and you can do that. There's a replay available.
Yeah,
and also push the idea that anything can happen, and it's you can't miss it. So
and that's another thing too is you don't have a men's Money in the Bank contract because they squandered Baron Corbin's contract away.
Right.
So there's no surprises on that end.
Right.
You're not going to get that Seth Rollins moment. Now you might on the women's side. but you won't on the men's side.
And have they forgotten that Carmella holds the women in Money in the Bank title?
I feel the same way I did when Seth Rollins has it, because I felt like they forgot about him for so long, and then all of a sudden at Mania. But I can only imagine that's where she's going to cash in, would be Mania, I would think, unless it's the day after, like on Raw or SmackDown right after. But I'm not sure.
So what happens? Asuka faces Charlotte and beats Charlotte for the title, and then out comes Carmella and beats Asuka. That's how Asuka loses her first match.
Actually,
that'd be Carmella.
That would actually be one of the legitimate ways that I could be like, oh, okay, that makes sense on how she lost. Because like you obviously aren't going to lose a one-on-one match, but if you had somebody like interfere or catch her off guard, I could see that. But it does look like, even though it's still not announced, again on Raw last night, they're pointing at all things Asuka versus Alexa still. They still haven't officially came out with a graphic for it. But that is what they're doing, unless they're going to put Nia in there.
Where does that leave Charlotte then?
That's a good question, because she's facing Ruby Riott this weekend. So that match is going to be squandered away. That would have been the only thing I could have thought that they would have done for the women. But you're right. What does that do? Because it would make sense if it would make so much sense if Asuka went over to SmackDown and challenged Charlotte, and then just on Raw you had Nia versus Alexa, and they're planting the seeds for Nia versus Alexa, but they're almost planning it like it could be a triple threat, because they had Nia versus Asuka again last night.
I heard about that.
And Asuka won, but she in story mode, but she damaged Nia's arm really bad. Like she had an ice pack on and everything, and she was in tears but Alexa came out and gave her
Nia Jax in tears. Why do you do that? You don't show your badasses crying.
Yep. She was in tears, and it was more because of what Alexa was saying, because Alexa was kind of being insensitive and we don't, I'm sorry to see that you failed and blah blah blah. And so they're planting the seeds of a triple threat is what I think they're going to go down with that. But again, that leaves Charlotte with no opponent.
That leaves Charlotte without an opponent, and that also cheapens the Asuka Royal Rumble win.
Yeah,
I
agree.
think that cheapens it far more than having Ronda Rousey come out at the end of the Royal Rumble, because at least that made some sense when it was like, oh, it looks like Ronda Rousey is challenging Asuka to a match at WrestleMania. Okay, I'm down with that. So that's not happening, and then you've got Asuka potentially in a triple threat match with Nia Jax. It does not make any sense.
No, it makes no sense. And I'm not saying it's for sure going to be triple threat. They just haven't planned it. Like we said, nothing is official till we get the graphic. And nothing has been shown. So I don't know if it's going to be Alexa versus Asuka, or if it's going to be Alexa versus Nia versus Asuka. I'm not really sure. So it could cheapen it if they throw Nia in there. That, or it could be Alexa versus Asuka, and let's say Alexa's actually winning, and then maybe Nia gets involved and screws Asuka or screws Alexa in some way. I don't know. Some way or another, Asuka's going to walk out champion in the end.
Does it?
For Raw, so I
don't know. Nothing is guaranteed at this point. Does it feel like? Does it feel like the only thing that was decided was that I want Roman versus Brock Lesnar, and then everything else was just we'll throw it together.
Kinda. Actually, yeah, kinda. Other than we knew Ronda was coming, and again we didn't know for sure what Ronda was getting.
Right.
But I think it felt as though they've had Roman versus Lesnar since Mania last year, which is
I've been probably dreaming to that match forever.
Yep. Vince. I mean, this is the third time they faced each other, and then they did have a promo with Paul Heyman on last night, and Roman came out and blah, 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 and they went back and forth. And Lesnar's going to be on Raw next week, and Roman's going to meet him there. And we all know it's pretty much, for the most part, it's probably going to be Roman going over and winning the title, and Lesnar going to UFC for a little bit, and we'll see what happens from there. But I don't know. Yeah, it does feel like that. I agree with you. It kind of feels like it just here we have this match, and then we'll just figure everything else out after the Royal Rumble.
Speaking of, and we got all that by talking about the IC title match and not really talking about it, but I think that's, like we said just a minute ago, I think that IC title match, again, Miz defending against Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins, that is a potentially show-stealing match right there.
Yeah, I agree. And they have a lot they could go off of here. Finn having a rivalry with Seth because Seth's the one that put him out due to injury, and he only held the Universal title for 24, not even 24 hours. Seth wins the IC title. He becomes a Grand Slam champion.
I could see that.
And Miz is 54 days as of today away from being the longest reigning IC champion of all time.
That seems odd. It doesn't feel like he's had that belt for as long as he has.
I think they're going total. Not like consecutive.
Okay, that's.
I think they're saying total reigns. Pedro Morales or something like that is the longest reigning. So he would break that if he continues the win. But we know that he's gonna have a kid. He's also filming his own show now with his wife, Ms. and Mrs. It's gonna be on USA. So I don't know. We'll see. But there's a lot of storyline there. That this could be a really good match when it's all said.
I think that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of Road to WrestleMania, we were talking, this was kind of happening while we were talking last week, and that's John Cena injecting himself into Fastlane, which is coming up this week, actually. So the 5-pack challenge has turned into a 6-pack challenge with the addition of John Cena. And it is for the title, so it's AJ versus Cena versus Sammy versus Kevin Owens versus who else?
Ziggler.
Okay.
Versus Baron Corbin. There's your 6.
All right, that's a good 6-pack challenge. That's an interesting.
I like
match.
the match. Yeah, I like the match. I like the match overall. I just don't like how we got here.
I'm okay. We were speculating on this, and I think I can't remember if it was you or Jeff that said, I think it was you that said, here's how it's going to go down. Now I'm not sure. Maybe it was Jeff. Somebody should get credit. It's not me. But here's how it's going to go down. Cena's going to show up. He's going to insert himself into the challenge. He's going to win whatever match he has to do, and he'll get into the challenge, and he'll lose that, and then he'll be like, I don't have any way to WrestleMania. My dream is dead. Boom, here comes The Undertaker.
I want to say that was Jeff.
Okay.
Because the only thing I had said was when you guys did your Royal Rumble watch, and I just said that they're going to have some multi-person match at Fastlane, but I was also wrong on who I said would be in it. But I'm pretty sure it was Jeff, I think. Because, and it makes sense. The only thing that I feel like is weird here is we're not supposed to think of SmackDown as the B show.
Yeah, but
then Cena can't go over on Raw. Then he goes over and beats the champion on SmackDown.
Yeah.
He's not going to win. It don't matter. And if he does win, it puts him at 17, which breaks Ric Flair. So you got a storyline there. But I don't think that as dumb as creative can be, they can't screw up Shinsuke and AJ. They can't. Can they? Can they?
Never underestimate the hatred Vince has for us.
Oh, I mean, they can't, right? I mean, they have to know this is like this is the very first time they face each other, but this is the first time.
Yeah, I don't think that they will. I think it's going to go down how Jeff predicted last week. It's a catalyst to get Cena out of the title picture and get him into that match with The Undertaker. And B, it's a catalyst for Sammy and Owen to have their breakup and then have their WrestleMania match, which
I agree
will be awesome. Who hasn't dreamed years and years ago? Who didn't dream about, oh my God, Kevin Steen versus El Generico at WrestleMania would be the tits, man. It's finally going to happen.
Yeah, I think that match needs to have a stipulation to it too. Just probably like a ladder match or something. I'd be okay with that. But
whoever loses the match has to get U.S. citizenship.
Ouch!
There you go.
Damn.
That's the match.
No, I think and that is an interesting way because we've seen that breakup coming for a while now. Obviously, they had a small feud in NXT that was actually really well done as well.
Yes,
but
that got me loving NXT. Holy crap.
these two on the main roster have been. I haven't liked it as much as I like Jericho and Owens, but as far as their friendship goes,
right.
But I do like the intriguing matchup that's going to inevitably happen.
How many times are they going to have Kevin Owens be somebody's best friend and then have him turn? That's like, that's his gimmick.
He's the best friend, man.
Yeah, you would think that these other wrestlers would be like, oh, gee, Kevin Owens has turned on everybody else, but with me, we're going to be golden forever.
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting, too. And they didn't really ever play into him getting handed the title by Triple H either in that Fatal 4-Way on Raw.
Oh, yeah.
After Finn Balor had to give the title up. There was that Fatal 4-Way, and he screwed over Seth.
Yep.
And they didn't really ever go anywhere with that either, other than the fact that he just said he chose him. So
yeah.
No, it's cool. I also like Kevin Owens around this time because he gets into KO Mania mode, and he teased the picture of KO Mania 3 T-shirt. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. But no, going back into the John Cena part of the things, I think you said it right. Jeff's probably going to be right in this case. He'll be eliminated. I'm sure it'll be heartbreaking in some aspect. I don't know if Taker necessarily shows up at Fastlane, but there's some sort of like, oh my God, I don't have a road to WrestleMania. I would actually be okay with him not showing up, him coming out on Raw and like basically being like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be a Mania. I don't have a match, and then maybe Taker coming out. Because, Jeff had mentioned the rumor of Rey Mysterio.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either. Plus, they've had a match before, I'm pretty sure. And even if they hadn't, I think I just seen Mysterio challenged Jushin Thunder Liger to a match in Japan. So that was done today. So we obviously know it's not Mysterio.
What if Undertaker really isn't coming, and it's going to end up being Cena versus Braun?
I'd be okay with that, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's maybe a way for Cena to put Braun over as another big megastar. I mean, think it back to big men. Okay, you think Undertaker, Kane, Kevin Nash / Diesel, The Big Show. How many of them are legitimate, like, long-time superstars? Like, Diesel didn't even have that long of a run as, like, a top guy.
He really did.
No, so if you think about it...
But he sure talks like he did.
Yes, he didn't have that run until WCW.
Yeah.
WCW. No, but if they want to do it with Braun, I think Braun's got the chops to do it. It's just they got to... Undertaker's really the only big guy, and Kane, to an extent. But, yeah, that could be intriguing. I could see that, I guess. Yeah, Braun, Cena.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens, but it feels like everything that Jericho leaked, maybe inadvertently on his little video, it's coming true. So that's like the last thing that has yet to manifest.
Yeah, I could see it. I think it's probably going to come true. I mean, and I could see this one being Taker's last one too. I mean, that's Cena, the big, the Haas, like the workhorse. So,
right.
Yeah.
We'll see. It will all come together. It'll all come together by this time next week. So you can come and watch our reactions to that. Other wrestling news. There are rumors that Vince is meeting with Alberto Del Rio. And that he may be on his way back.
Again.
God, why? Why? Vince has this hard-on for some weird people. Like
Vince really likes Del Rio, but Triple H does not.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Del Rio is a good technical wrestler.
Right.
But his programs just go nowhere. He just gets really stale really quickly.
Del Rio's best work is done outside of the WWE.
Yeah.
Honestly, his best work is done outside. His best bet would be to stay away, I think. I mean, there's...
Yeah, but that money isn't the same outside.
No, well, unless you're the Bullet Club or the Young Bucks, it's not the same because, not everybody's bringing in multi-million-dollar contracts. But, no, I mean, Del Rio is... he's a name that people know, I guess, and when he came back and beat Cena for the U.S. title, it was kind of a big shock.
Yeah, that was cool.
So I like that, but I don't know. I mean, he just, like you said, he grows stale. It's a lot of it too is his character hasn't really evolved over time.
Right.
He's just the same. He's just the same. you know.
And then they tried to stick him into that really bad, short-lived stable. What was that, League of Nations or whatever?
Yes. Yep.
The League.
Yep.
Oh my God.
You're right. Yep. It could have been something. I liked the grouping. It didn't go anywhere either. So
that was terrible.
Very short-lived and not well done once they put them together.
But maybe it's Vince's way of being nice since Paige broke herself and can't wrestle anymore.
And I don't even know if Paige and him are still together. I have no idea what's going on.
I think they are.
I have no idea. And even if they are, good riddance, man. That she's been a mess.
Yep.
So.
And she's been a mess largely since she's been with him. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anywho, final wrestling notes. Oh, one of the other big things, at least for us, Matt Hardy, the whole Hardy world is now coming together here. So Hardy has invited Bray Wyatt to the Hardy compound for the ultimate deletion. So finally we're having the culmination of this feud, the culmination of Matt's transition to Woken Matt and the transportation of that brilliant character from TNA over to WWE. We've got the introduction of the rest of the crew happening on Twitter. So he introduced Senor Benjamin, Vanguard 1, Queen Rebecca, King Maxwell, I can't remember his other child's name, and of course the dilapidated boat now known as Skarsgård. So he's introduced all of them via his Twitter feed, and we are presuming that they are all showing up during this match at Mania. I would imagine. So I am excited about that.
Yeah, that actually, for the most part, it's been over like his work has been too overdone. Like WWE got their creative and they got their hands into it a little more than I would have liked. But this package that was put together last night was pretty cool. And to have him challenge Bray and Bray's laughing in the center of the ring on one knee, I was like, that's cool. All right, I'm in now. Like I think it was bound to happen. I kind of wish they would have waited to have Bray and him go at it because they've been going at it for quite a while now. But I wouldn't have wanted it to be anyone else at this point.
Right.
Like, who else would you have stuck in Bray Wyatt's place? So this is going to be really cool. These two can do some really cool stuff, I think.
Here's the thing. What happens after this?
It's a good question. That's a very good question. Is Jeff going to be healed? Brother Nero coming?
Maybe Brother Nero. Maybe Jeff Hardy comes back and he's not Brother Nero yet.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't really talked about Jeff as Brother Nero.
Right. And that was something I kind of remember mentioning once on a show, like it was a few months ago, that there was talk that they were going to separate them and have Jeff go on a singles run as Jeff, but then he got hurt. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know where he's at with all that, but I mean, who does Hardy go after next? Especially first off, who wins the damn match? And then you would imagine you'd think Hardy walks away from this, but then like what happens with Bray? Like what do you do with Bray at this point? He's lost every big match that you can think of.
Yeah.
So he's like the opposite Undertaker at this point.
It's like, I know everything's going to be okay, guys. I'm facing Bray. He's the new face of fear because once I'm over Bray Wyatt, I'm over my fears.
Yep. Yeah, there'll be some interesting stuff, but I have no idea what you do with either of them after this match. To be completely honest with you, I don't know who you would put either of them against. Matt versus Elias?
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
I mean, they both have good chops. Bray again, but then I don't know where you go with Bray on that one. You can't. He doesn't win by losing, so he would have to win the match to go anywhere. But then do you really have Matt lose at the Hardy compound his first time at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It also, I was going to say, it also doesn't feel like you have any call-ups or anything from NXT after WrestleMania because
not that either of these would face.
Yeah, except for maybe Adam Cole.
I don't think either of them would. Even then, I don't think either of them would face Adam Cole. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't feel right. Johnny Gargano actually worked his last NXT show this past weekend, because he lost that NXT career versus title match to Andrade Cien Almas. So my guess is he's showing up on the main roster one of the nights after WrestleMania.
That's cool, but where do we stick him? If you can't find a place for Ty Dillinger 1 year later.
I know. Unless you bring Tommaso Ciampa up as well, and then there's your first feud.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, looks like Jeffington is online.
Ooh.
Maybe he'll dial in here in a second. Wrapping up wrestling news, last thing that we had was Hillbilly Jim.
Yep.
Is he the final inductee into the Hall of Fame?
I don't know if he's final, but he is the next. I think this would round it out. Do we have a celebrity inductee this year?
I haven't seen a celebrity, and have we seen a female?
Yeah, Ivory is the female.
Oh, okay. Ivory's the female.
Ivory's the female. We got the Dudley Boys for tag team, right? The Dudley Boys are tag team?
Yeah, Dudley Boys are tag team. So, yeah, I haven't seen a celebrity yet.
So, maybe celebrity, and that's it. I think that would be a nice round number.
Who would be a good celebrity?
Oh, man. Is Trump in?
Yeah, Trump's been in for many years.
This would have been a good time for Trump.
Oh, my gosh. Could you have... That would have been amazing.
God, that would have been terrible for, like... well, terrible in a great way. Like, awesome for the pop he would have gotten. And whether it be boos or cheers. But... I don't know, a celebrity that could be inducted.
Vince would have just loved it because he loves having people come over to his tent.
Right.
That's a big deal to Vince, is to have a celebrity walk into his arena, his ring. So to have the president of the United States, I mean, it was a big feather in his cap when Jesse Ventura came back as governor to ref that match between Austin, I think it was Austin and McFoley and Triple H. But to have the president of the United States come and get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
So Drew Carey's in. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in, right?
Yeah, Arnold's been in.
Arnold's in. Trump's in. Oh, man. I'm not sure at this point. I'm trying to think of celebrities. I don't know, Mr. T. I don't know if Mr. T's even in at this point, but.
Yeah, he was in.